Hey folks, Cat and Tommy again. New project. You're gonna love this one. Ultimate Extreme Boat Hook. Everybody's gonna need one. I don't care if it's a power boat or a sailboat. You're gonna need this boat hook. Let's get started. We are at West Marine in Tampa, Florida. Welcome. Alright folks, this is what you're going to need. This is a quick release hook that you can get off of Amazon. This is a West Marine boat hook. Expandable. You'll need some PVC glue. You'll need six 6mm, or I'm sorry, number 6. That's number 6 by 3/4 bolts, 6 of them, with nylon locking nuts. See if I can get that in there. You'll need a 3-inch tee. You can get that from a hardware store. You can get that from Lowe's, Home Depot, anything like that. Now, here's the trick. This is a 1/2-inch cap, PVC cap, flat on the top. You see that? This is a 1/2-inch PVC cap, round on the top. The only ones you can get from Lowe's and Home Depot and places like that are the round ones. I had to go to an Ace Hardware to get these flat top ones. You may be able to get them in your area at a different spot. These are hooks from little mounting brackets from also from West Marine, and then 2 packages of JB Weld plastic weld. 2 packages of it. And last but not least, a 5-foot piece of 1/2-inch PVC pipe. All the model numbers will be in the description below, as well as a couple of affiliate links for the quick release hook and the boat hook, and then the little mounting brackets. So y'all get those things and we're going to get started. Alright, what we need to do first is take our tee, one of them, it usually comes 2 in the pack, and our hook for our quick release hook. This is the mount for our quick release hook, and you want to line the 2 up where the top hole of the hook, you can see where the latch is. That hole lines up with the hole, the top hole in the tee, and the tee is upside down, okay? So once you do that, you need to flip it over where the 2 holes are perfectly lined up, and then mark the hole I'm sorry, yeah, you need to mark the hole in the tee that doesn't go through, and we're going to drill that out. So this one's lined up, this one we're going to drill out. Okay folks, so I'm outside. I have the clamp for the quick release in a pair of channel locks, and I want to drill that hole. I took the little screw right there and I made a center punch, and then you can take a smaller bit and start with the smaller bit. Once you have the center punch right where you want it, and drill that one out very slowly. It is stainless, it's hard, it's not going to want to go through, so that's why we're starting with a starter bit. Okay, so I got the center punch the hole in the center, it did go a little off center. I will fix that with the bigger bit, but we're going to come back after I've drilled the big one. Okay, we finished putting the hole in the clamp for the quick release, but now we want to mark our holes with a Sharpie on the T-bracket directly onto the hook, but we want to do it with the hook straight down, and there's a line where they molded the plastic here, and so I'm just going to line up with that line. Makes it real easy. Put it in the dead center, mark my holes, my 3 holes. It's going to be hard for you to see on the camera, but I have them marked, and then I'm going to drill them and come back. Okay, so we have our holes drilled directly on the opposite side of the hook, and we're going to put some stainless steel screws a little bit bigger than these holes to hold it on. I was going to go through and through and actually drilled them through and through, but it will impede the hook if they do. So I'm going to use stainless steel big size screws. I will let you know what size once I get them, but they're going to be stainless steel, and they'll go in these 3 holes, which will hold the T-bracket and the hook on top of the T-bracket, just like that. When I get that done, we'll come back. For this part of the project, we're going to use a socket and then a Sharpie, and we're going to create a half circle around each of the corners, and we're going to use a Harbor Freight grinder with a cutoff blade, a real thin blade that is, see if I can get closer, it's just a real thin blade that cuts steel. I'm going to use that to grind it down. Don't forget your safety glasses, because sparks will be flying. I'm going to get that set up, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to mark that. So if you hold the T and the socket, I found the right size socket diameter here that would give me a half circle. Basically all we're doing is we're taking these corners off right here. We're going to take those 2 corners off. So we need to mark a half circle and grind that off. We're going to use the cutting blade because it's on there, and we're not really taking off a whole lot of material. We have to do that to both of these sides. So you take your Sharpie, look down the center of your socket and line up your hole. And then once you have it perfectly lined up down the center of the socket, then that's going to be where you're going to make your mark. So I'm going to line it up perfectly if I can. I'm going to take my marker, I'm going to come around the side, not quite straight there, there we go. Okay, so you can see here I've marked it right there, and I'm going to take that material off, do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to start grinding. I'll come back and show you what that. Okay, so when you get done, you should have about the same thickness between the outside edge of the T to where your mark is on both sides. So you're taking off about the same amount of material, and it's time to start grinding. Okay, when you're using the grinder, it's important to know which direction it turns in. For mine, with it face up, it will be turning counterclockwise with it face up. And so I'm going to lay the T on here and just grind down on the side. And I'm just going to knock these corners off very carefully on both sides until I've got a round end. This metal's going to get very hot. I have leather gloves on, not only to protect me from this, but also it's going to get hot. And also be aware of where the sparks are flying so you don't burn yourself or anything like that. So I'm going to turn it on. It's going to get loud. You can see already that we've taken quite a bit off, but we're not to our line. I'm going to continue doing this off camera until everything's done. Okay, so you can see now we have rounded corners, and we've just taken them all off. It's still hot, so I'm going to just probably sand down any burrs that are on here, make sure they don't catch on anything and they're safe. And we'll get back to it. Okay, now it's time to cut our PVC pipe to length. And you remember we have some round top half-inch caps and some flat top half-inch caps. The flat top are going to be glued on permanently. The round ones are to hold the JB Weld that's going to be molded up into here. So we're going to take the cutter and cut that PVC pipe, and then we're going to take a little bit of sandpaper and sand on the inside of it a little bit where the JB Weld is going to be adhered to, so we get a good strong bond. So depending on which hook you use, again I'm using West Marine, will depend on how long your pieces of PVC need to be. So let me explain. When you put your T here, your hook stops here. You don't want that in the way of your rope. So you're going to want quite a bit of length on there. So we're going to measure it out, and we're going to make ours the length we need for this particular pole. So taking a tape measure, put this back up here. I have my PVC stand next to it. I think that's a good length at where we're at. And it's 15 inches, but I'm going to go ahead and go 16 for this particular one. So I'm going to cut two pieces of the PVC pipe at 16 inches. If you look at my video on the engine cleaner, you can see how to use this. Not very hard. Stick it in here and it ratchets, and it ratchets and it ratchets. So I'm going to mark my 16 inches, cut it, mark another 16 inches, cut it, and I'll come back. Okay, my two pieces are cut and to 16 inches, and what we're going to do is we're going to put these on. I'm going to put some kind of release. I'm not sure what kind. I'll let you know once I know. As this video progresses along, I'm going to put some kind of release in here. So we're going to fill these up with the JB Weld for plastic, and it's going to settle down here at the bottom and fill them in, because we need them filled in. That's going to be the side that's going to go on our T-bracket. So when we pull these off, it should be filled on the inside of here. We're going to make a groove on the inside of here, and the T-bracket will fit in the groove. Okay, after a little bit of research, looks like wax from a candle. I'm going to use the back side of the butter knife as kind of an applicator, make sure it gets all the way around. Is a good release for JB Weld plastic. So obviously, whatever you're going to use, the applicator's got to be able to fit inside. I want to get it on the bottom and a little way up the side, all the way around, and that way when my JB Weld contacts it, it'll stay right there. So that's what I'm going to do. Obviously, you need a lighter. Be careful, this is fire. It will burn you. Okay. So I've lit my candle, and really I just want to release the wax into the bottom, and it's dripping now. And it'll stay for a little while. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one too while I'm at it. You don't worry too much about whether you get it on the sides or not. As you push the PVC on, so I'm going to leave it right there for just a minute, because before it hardens up too much, I want to make sure I get wax at the bottom but on the sides as well. And just to make sure as I push it on, oops, so put a little bit more in there. What you could also do is kind of, once you fill it up a little bit, is just tilt it around, you know, tilt the cap around. Okay, I'm just going to swirl it. That's fine. I'm going to do the same thing here. Fill it up some more. And turning the candle as to keep it even also produces just a lot more wax. So as I get enough in the bottom, I'm just going to swirl it and then let it sit. Okay, don't forget, you need to roll up your sandpaper and go inside of both of these and just scrub in and out all the way around. Make sure you get real good inside there, and then put an X on this side so you know that that's the side that the JB Weld is going to be on. Again, just roll your paper up really tight. Go inside of it and scrub it down all the way on both ones, both pieces of pipe. Put an X so you know it's that side, and then we're going to put the caps on there that we poured the wax in. So I've put the caps on. Remember, these are the round ones that have the wax in them. So we're ready to pour our JB Weld from this end down to end. The X is underneath the caps now, so I know I had that right. So we're going to mix up the JB Weld. So the JB Weld has a 5-minute set time and a 1-hour cure time. We're going to let it sit overnight because we're going to use all of one container like this on one. So that's why you had to have 2 of these, one for each pipe, and fill it up as much as we can. And then we'll do the other one
It does come with an applicator. I'm going to mix it right here on here and pour it right in. So let's get started. Alright, so you break off this little tip here and it exposes these two. We're going to squirt the whole contents onto this page, mix it up. I'm going to bend it, the piece of cardboard like that, and let it fall right into the pipe. So here we go. Hope I don't make too big of a mess, but and you want to mix this real thoroughly. You don't want any. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, so I'm going to try to keep this from not spilling too much. But you really want to get a real good, thorough mixing in here. Everything needs to be mixed really, really well. So I'm just going to do my absolute best to keep this stuff together and keep it mixed. At this point, I think it's pretty mixed. I'm going to just pour it into the hole. Try to get every single bit of it in that hole as you can. Hope that all got on camera. I'm going to lean this, you're not going to see it's off camera, but I'm leaning that up against the wall just to make sure there's anything. Yep, there's a little bit left in there. I want to get that out of there and do it again. Mix real well. I don't want any of this getting away, and I want it mixed super well. Super well. Scrape that off and bring my PVC pipe back and drop this stuff back in the hole. I guess y'all can see I'm having to work quickly and not really worry about the camera too much, but I just want to get all of that down in there as much as I can. You won't see it, it's going to be off camera, but I'm going to use the little applicator and scrape what's left right into the pipe. The pipe is a little too high for me to show you that, but anyway, I'm going to put that over there. So it's all in there, and I'm going to stand it up like this and do the other one off camera, and I'll come back. So there they are. I have them leaned up against the wall so they can dry. We'll wait 24 hours and then we'll take the caps off and start our slot. Okay, so the JB Weld is now solid. I've made 2 marks on the end where I'm going to make my slot, and I've also marked them 3/4 inch down on both sides of those marks so I know how deep to make it. So we're going to take our angle grinder with a cutting blade and get busy. Alright, to make sure that my cut is going to be straight, I went ahead and extended the end lines down to the side, so as I'm cutting it I can watch that line. There won't be any sparks, but you don't want to get cut by this thing. I'm going to go ahead and put my leather gloves on for that. Alright, so we have the 2 with the slot in them, and I've marked 3/8 down on either side, and where I'm going to drill my hole. 3/8 down on both of them, both sides, and we're going to drill a 3/16 hole in both of them so that it attaches to the T-bracket, just like that. Alright, so we have our 3/16 hole through. I'm going to drill the other one off camera. Alright, so both of them are drilled. So we're ready to install them onto the T-bracket and bolt them down. Alright, so we need to attach our 2 clips to the end. The most important thing is that the clips are in this position where the rope is horizontal to the water, okay? Not in that position. You want it horizontally to the deck or the water. That's the most important thing. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Again, we want it horizontal. And that's it. Alright folks, it's finished. So, I'm going to come in a little bit. You have the quick release hook here. You have an unimpeded hook here with the top. And then you have your 2, which we're going to get into closer up on this. Once you see that the quick release works, when you have a rope on this thing here all the way back and you hook this to the front of a boat, it comes right off and locks. So now that we've gotten that off, we're going to look at what I did. So I put my bolts in to my T. I added a stainless steel screw here and here, and a little spring that I had to close up the loops with a pair of pliers to fit underneath here on these 2 with a little spring in place. So what happens is, as you bring these up, the screws stop on the T, and the spring holds it in place. Now the way this works is you put your rope, one in here, one in here. This holds it open, and you go over which I'm going to show you in just a second, you go over your cleat with it and pull it off. They'll come right out of the clips. So I'm going to show you that now. Alright, so what I did is I took a rope that already had an eye in it, put it through like you would with a bowline. Where the rope is coming through the eye, attach one end to this clip, and this clip will do 1/4 inch up to half, so it's going to be a little tight to get it in. You'll put this in while you're on the deck of your boat. Come to the other side, put the other end in, and now you have your rope here. I'm going to scoot the camera down, make sure you can see what I'm doing. Okay, and so you can extend your pipe out, this hook out as long as you need to, and hook the cleat. When you pull, the clips come off and your rope is hooked, and it's that easy. Bring it back in, turn these back down. Now they're out of your way and it's a boat hook. Like, comment, subscribe, and above all, be blessed in Jesus.